Over the past 30 days, precipitation totals were well below average for most of the southwestern U.S. Despite anticipation for an above-average precipitation this winter due to a strong El Niño event, a ridge of high pressure diverted moisture around the southwest for much of the last 60 days. The precipitation patterns looked more like La Niña than El Niño. The coastal Northwest and Northern California experienced well above average precipitation, and the Southwest has been very warm and dry. Southwest temperatures in February were well above average, setting many high temperature records, especially in southern Arizona and coastal Southern California. Long-term drought continues across much of the Southwest, while recent warm and dry conditions have done little to improve regional outlooks on short-term drought. There was hope that a strong El Niño might reduce precipitation deficits, but multi-year droughts, such as those experienced during much of this century so far, will require more sustained, above-average precipitation over multi-year periods to fully recover. This winter, below-average precipitation and above-average temperatures have dropped snow water equivalent percent of normal to well below average in Arizona and southern New Mexico. The values range between 0 and 25% of normal. Northern New Mexico and much of the upper Colorado River Basin are faring somewhat better, with snow water equivalent values between 75 and 110% of normal. It is still unknown how the rest of the winter and spring will play out in high elevation areas, and how this will affect reservoir storage in the region. Winter is winding down, and there is little on the horizon to indicate a shift towards a wetter signal. This El Niño event is shaping up to be a bit of a disappointment compared to forecasts and media characterizations that dominated the run-up to the actual event. Expectations for a strong El Niño had been high, beginning with the false start of this El Niño's event in 2014 to 2015, and continuing with a general sense that a strong El Niño could mitigate ongoing drought conditions. The Southwest has been awash in color as flowering plants exploded to life, fed by the increased precipitation during fall 2015 and kick-started by above-average temperatures of the past month or so. As a result, pollen counts are up. As dry conditions persist, we can expect increased dust and particulate matter as well. Wildfire also looms on the horizon, as growth spurts in fine fuel last fall and dry conditions this winter and spring have combined to increase fire danger across the Southwest. The March 17th NOAA Climate Prediction Center 3-month seasonal outlook calls for increased chances of above-average precipitation for most of the Southwest and increased chances of above-average temperatures across much of the western United States.